Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today my older son's baseball season opens, so I will be watching 2 baseball games. So all the hard work we've put in, all of my arm hurting and my arm hurting when I go to sleep sometimes, today is the day. These are the days that we get to watch the results of our hard work, and I get to have teachable moments with my son. And so today I'll go watch a game or 2. Let's start this video out with this from Crypto Mike. We have a lot of new people that are coming into this space, and so I like to be able to show you some of these type graphs that we've shown before. This is a product adoption curve, and we've shown varieties of this in the past. The first phase it shows is tech and enthusiasts, and I would say for XRP this would mean people that were involved in the or Bitcoin and XRP. I believe this would be the people who were being given free Bitcoin and all that this period of time I would say would go from 2009 all the way probably to around 2014 or 15 or maybe up to 17. But and then somewhere in there I see around 2016, 17, 18. The visionaries, the early adopters, that's you and I. I was investing back in here, but I'm not really an innovator of any coin. I just kind of maybe got lucky, I guess. But the visionaries I see are the people now, the ones who have been in the last couple of years of bear market. The money is made by these 2 groups, folks. Some money is made by these guys, not much by these, and these guys show up when the party has already happened and it's done. But I believe that we are somewhere in the early part of this right here. It's interesting to look at every once in a while. Okay, XRP Crypto crypto exchange Bitso aims to capture 20% of the U.S. to Mexico remittance corridor with Ripple's XRP on-demand liquidity by the end of 2020. 20%, folks. U.S. to Mexico is one of the world's biggest remittance markets with about $35 billion yearly flow. You think that's going to be bad for us? No. XRP Crypto Wolf, New Jersey lawmaker, this is Yvonne Marie Lopez, filed a new cryptocurrency bill called the Digital Asset and Blockchain Technology Act. The bill wants to protect consumers while supporting the cryptocurrency space and require all crypto firms to obtain a business license. So you can see all of these politicians are starting to get on board. They're not starting; they're on board. Chinu Patel at Chinu Patel 29 sent me this. This was a Cryptopolis tweet. Getting liquid, waiting for the real liquidity gap. And this was an article about how someone has sold a big stake in State Street's $3.9 billion stock ETF. In other words, they're leaving the stock market. In other words, getting liquid because they think the stock market's going to collapse. Now, Cryptopolis is on fire today. I saw this tweet as well. Interest rates will continue to be cut to lower bound, aka zero interest rates. CBs will continue. Central banks will continue to be accommodative. Inflation target is flexible and will be allowed to overshoot at 2.5% annually. We are in trouble and we know it. And he's linking to a BIS.org article, but he summed it up great. Now, also from Cryptopolis, this was given to me by David DePriest. Watch this video. This is Milton Friedman, and he was an economist back, I guess, in the 60s and 70s. Very smart guy. Listen to what he says.
Situation in 1932 was a very terrible situation, but it had been produced by the failures of the Federal Reserve System in the prior 4 years. It was not a failure of capitalism, it was a failure of government. And Herbert Hoover himself, in his memoirs at the end of that time, said he had learned to his sorrow that the Federal Reserve was a weak reed for a nation in time of trouble. So that you can't blame Hoover for the Depression. You can't blame business for the Depression, but Hoover has to take some of the blame.
All right.
Much of what Roosevelt did in the New Deal was unwise, but much of it was necessary. You can't, again, give a black and white judgment.
All right. Let's try some black and white questions, although there are no anathema to economists. One of the wonderful things about you is that when you speak, I almost always understand you, and that that's a real breakthrough for you and for me as well. The government should help save Chrysler. We need 3 auto companies.
The government has been helping to kill Chrysler, but it should not help to save Chrysler. Of course not. This is a private enterprise system. It's often described as a profit system, but that's a misleading label. It's a profit and loss system. And the loss part is even more important than the profit, because it's what gets rid of badly managed, poorly operated companies.
What does?
Losses. When Chrysler loses money.
Oh, I see. So, all right.
When Chrysler loses money, it's got to do something. When Amtrak loses money, it goes to Congress and gets a bigger appropriation. The question at issue is, should the people in this country bail out Chrysler by taking money out of their pockets, not to buy cars which they want to buy, but to pay for whatever has been the cause of the losses at Chrysler?
Man, I wish he had been around during the bailouts. He could have really helped us. Okay, and so now this is from Michael at VAL5 Links, and he says, and crypto is for criminal activity. Wells Fargo, the nation's 4th largest bank, agreed Friday to pay a $3 billion fine to settle a civil lawsuit and resolve a criminal prosecution filed by the Justice Department over its fake account scandal. And then, hold on one second. I had somebody, let's see, one second. Okay, sorry, the digital asset investor flow got interrupted there because my father, who is the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, was ringing the doorbell. He came to see his grandson's baseball game today. And so that is why I got interrupted there. So we're going to keep going here. But anyway, this is from Michael at VAL5 Links. They've talked for the last 7 years about how, Bitcoin and all this can be used for illegal purposes. It's fraudulent and all that. And meanwhile, the banks are paying fines for doing things that are fraudulent. You can't make this stuff up. Okay. Shopify has joined the Libra Association, and that is all that you'll get here on that. There's not. You've had a lot of people, and for those of you that don't know, the Libra Association is the association created by Facebook for Libra, the Libra token that would be the Facebook token. And I'm sure they created a Libra Association, which is a non-profit, because by creating a non-profit, nobody can come after them for Libra being a security. I think that's the whole point of all these non-profits. Okay, XRP Big Time sent me this. This is from Bloomberg Technology. Malaysia's largest telecommunications company said it plans to bid for a digital banking license. Now, why do you think they're going for a digital banking license? Well, they're probably going to create themselves a walled garden. They're probably going to have a Malaysia telecom digital asset, or who knows. Okay, now I wanted to show you this because every once in a while I like to dig back deep and go back and show you some of the older things that were produced by Ripple. This is one of them. Many people on Twitter probably haven't even seen this. I saw this. This is from December 7th of 2013. It's one of the first promos for Ripple that was ever created. Watch this.
Ripple is a great new way to exchange value, letting you pay people through your social network as easily as if you had your own bank. Ripple turns the existing trust on which trade has always been based into a free and secure financial network that serves your needs. You can create your own useful money with only a few mouse clicks. Organize child-minded or after-school programs in a way that fairly rewards everyone. Already have a tab with your friend? Great, now it works like a credit card. Whole communities can easily use Ripple to their advantage. You simply register and connect with people you trust. Now you can use your own financial node, issue valuable personal credit, even see how creditworthy someone is in the trust network. It works with any currency, automatically converting as needed, and it's all completely accessible. Use your social network to make real payments. Ripple connects you with the people you need to know through the people you know. With Ripple, you simply deal with anyone, while Ripple balances your credit relationships and lets you make transactions. Everyone can make transactions through their social networks, sharing credit only with trusted partners, while Ripple safely routes value through chains of nodes connected by degrees of separation. Ripple transfers go through communities of people who know and trust each other, so you don't have to pay fees and have confidence in the network's reliability. Ripple lets individuals and organizations create a new financial option which completely suits their own needs. You'll make money work for you. Create your own powerful credit today and Rippleize your financial goals.
So you can see how far we've come. This was an actual commercial, or I don't know if it's a commercial or just a promo they put out on the internet. Now, let's talk about something that's really important. Now, what we covered this week. Spring, remember, Spring is Ripple's more or less like their incubator that creates new use cases for XRP, but they also are used for the development of XRP and like things like you see right here. Spring is everywhere. Ethereum Denver. This is an Ethereum conference this weekend, building a rainbow bridge between XRP and Ethereum over Interledger. Come find this person to complete the open Bifrost money mission. Okay, but the point here that I want you to get is that XRP is going to be and the Interledger, it will be a bridge between Ethereum. Well, why do you want to do that? Okay. And I also, we've talked about how Spring was at Ethereum Denver. Well, why are they trying to connect with Ethereum? There's obvious reasons for that. But I want to show you who else was at Ethereum Denver and what he was talking about. This is an article from CoinDesk from a couple days ago. Vitalik Buterin explains the new tech behind Ethereum 2.0. My father and I were having this conversation this morning. We were talking about, one of the things we were talking about is that JP Morgan has built their blockchain, the JP Morgan coin. Remember that? They built their blockchain on Ethereum, and we both didn't understand why they would do this, because it's a known fact that Ethereum is proof of work and that proof of work does not work. And it's a known fact that these guys are having scaling issues, partially because of that. Well, Vitalik Buterin addresses that here. They're working on 2.0, and that's why JP Morgan would build on that platform. This is where Spring was, by the way.
This is William Foxley with CoinDesk. Today we're joined by Vitalik Buterin. We're going to be talking about Ethereum and stateless clients. Great to have you today.
Yeah, great to be here.
Can you describe stateless clients to us? It's ETH 1.5x or 1.5 is what we're talking about.
1.x, yeah. So basically the idea is that a regular client has what's called the entire history and the entire state, right? So the history is kind of blocks and transactions that have happened historically, and the state is like the current account balances, contract code, contract storage, and of information that is needed to process the next block. And the way that clients work in Bitcoin and in Ethereum and in most blockchains is they have the entire state and they process sort of blocks coming in, right? Now, the problem with this approach is that the size of the state is getting very big, and accessing the state requires reading the disk a lot, and so there's a lot of kind of barriers to just having a client and then of client scalability just because of the size of the state. And so the idea of a stateless client is basically that you have a client that does not hold a state, and instead it just holds the root Merkle hash of the state. And when it receives a block, along with Merkle proofs proving what accounts that block accessed and proving like what the previous balances are and what the new balances are. And instead of kind of checking reads and writes against the state on disk, the client checks reads and writes against the Merkle proof. And so the client basically does the same verification that it would normally do, except it doesn't store the state, it just kind of grabs the state in real time and verifies it using his Merkle proofs, and so that it can do the same verification.
This is highly experimental, correct?
The idea has been around for years. In terms of implementation, it's definitely experimental.
Okay. So one idea I've seen in the recent AMA you guys did, the ETH2 chief scientist did on Reddit, you guys talked about if stateless clients, for whatever reason, don't work, the backup plan is to put the current ETH1X into ETH2 and have it live as two chains, one living within the other.
Not so much two chains, but having the ETH1 kind of state transition system live within the other. So the distinction is that like the state transition system just means like the state and like how, the rules for processing transactions, the rules for updating the state like, when you process transactions. And that can stay unchanged even while you change the consensus, right? So you could change the consensus to proof of work, you can kind of copy that state and kind of run it inside of a different proof of stake chain. So the account balances, like all the applications, keep running as is, but for the proof of work chain as it exists, like would be gone. And there would not even be two separate chains, like the ETH1 transactions and the ETH2 related stuff would all be in the same block.
The important thing he said there, out of all of that, the guy's like crazy smart. If you get nothing out of that other than the fact the goal is to leave proof of work behind. That's because proof of work doesn't work and they know it. So, but how does all this tie in? Well, here's how it ties in. If these huge companies like JP Morgan, and they won't be the first or the last, there's many that are building on Ethereum. Now, if that's going to happen, you got Springs trying to build a bridge between Ethereum and the using Interledger and all that. Well, why are they doing that? They're doing it for a very simple reason. You're going to have JP Morgan walled gardens. You're also, as R3 told us, you're going to have central bank digital currencies. You're going to have those. You're going to have JP Morgan coin. You're going to have Bank of America coin probably. But you're also, to bridge those things, you're going to have the XRPs of the world. And XRP, I believe, will be the global standard for bridging all of those walled gardens. And if you remember, we were talking yesterday about this article from R3 where they said that they've been working quietly with all of these central banks. So central bank digital currencies are being created. Bank digital assets are being created as well. And then let's show you the overall picture of what is about to happen in your world. And all you have to do is go to this. This is the future of frictionless, and you've heard Brad Garlinghouse say that word a lot. The future is blockchain. The future is Corda. And I believe R3 is what ties it all together. All these walled gardens and all of the central bank digital assets and bank digital assets and private company, whether it's Malaysia Telecom, all of this is going to be tied together, I believe, through R3 and the Interledger protocol.
Welcome to the future of frictionless commerce, where transactions move seamlessly between parties. Business partners operate in perfect synchrony, and trustless interactions are a thing of the past. What one sees, the other sees. Global networks are open and democratized. Ecosystems are blooming. A productivity revolution is unleashed. Entire markets are transformed. Supply chains run smoothly. Cross-border payments happen in real time. Value is unlocked in previously illiquid markets. Digital identities are maintained by individuals. Businesses are as agile as the world they operate in. The future is frictionless. The future is blockchain. The future is Corda.
There you have it. Well, I want to finish up by showing you a couple of things. This is from CoinMarketCap. Let me tell you, it's happening in first class business and economy. This is a tweet from a guy. He says, saw the guy in first class checking CoinMarketCap as I walked past to sit in my peasant seats. It's happening. And then there's this from XRP Darren. It's a quote from C.S. Lewis. There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. And he's showing you the chart of XRP from its inception all the way. And I've been here since around here, all the way on this journey. And I ask people all the time, do you really believe, after everything we've seen the last 2 years, do you really believe that 2017 is all that we're going to see? If you do believe that, I've got an igloo I would like to sell to you in South Georgia. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that XRP is the one, and it's always been the one. Thank you for listening.